Dodge again. Woo! It is freaking hot. It's the day after the 4th. It's got to be 110 degrees in the shade, 200% humidity. I don't even have my work shirt on. I had to wear a t-shirt. You know what I mean? It is humid. Gosh darn. Had a little rain last night. What are we doing today? Got to change oil on the Crunchy. I want to show you how to check the ball joints. It's not a super huge deal. It's getting some miles on her, 150,000. So I want to make sure, since nothing has grease fittings anymore, I want to make sure the ball joints aren't going to fall out. I got a trip plan with this thing, and so I want to make sure we don't, you know, ka-chow one of the wheels while we're having fun this summer. So I'm going to check on that stuff. Let's get after it, huh? I tell you what, in the 80s and 90s, Chrysler minivans had a bewildering amount of powertrain options. They had like, I don't know, 5 or 6 4-cylinders and about 4 or 7 6-cylinders, and I mean, they even had a manual transmission in one. Who does that, right? And Mitsubishi and whatever, and Chrysler and whatever, and this and that, and 3 liters, 3.8s, 3.3s, Mitsubishis, overhead cams. This is where it's at. Let me show you. Look at that baby, huh? That is a Chrysler designed 3.6 liter V6. It is incredibly easy to work on. Of course, with any modern vehicle, plastic and wiring up the wazoo. But the fact that they only offered this powertrain says a lot. Now, actually, I'll tell you what, Jeeps have them, minivans, Chryslers, V6 Dodges, like the Chargers and all that, V6 Challengers, even the pickup trucks, Pro Masters, you name it, they're out there. They're out there, they're proven. They don't burn oil like the old ones. They don't tick like the old ones. They don't get bowed up as bad like the old ones. The caveat being, if you take care of them right. They do have some shortcomings. The oil cooler, I would think, would be one of them. That comes to mind. That sucks. Yeah, when they get like a gazillion, bajillion miles on them, the timing chains wear out. But it's no better or worse than a frickin' GM 3.6 liter. You know, look at how many of those they made. And I think not a one out there hasn't had timing chain issues. So it's a law of averages, right? The numbers, strength in numbers and all that. Let's change on this oil. Super duper easy. And then let's check on these ball joints. God dang fly. Frickin'. All right. Oh. I hear some rattling in the front end when I go over bumps. I want to make sure it's not the ball joints or the tie rods. I don't think it is. I think it might be the stabilizer links, but we're going to check it anyway. I'll settle for some, but I'm hoping for like none. But then that would, where's that noise coming from, you know? We'll have to go on a road test later. Let's see here. I don't feel anything. No clunking. I bet you. I can almost be willing to bet you that the stabilizer links are bad. Look, man, everybody's got a preference, brand preference to things. Cars they drive, you know, pocket Google calculator thing that makes calls. You know, engine oil, filter. You know what, man? I always just buy Mopar oil filter or whatever, Chrysler, Dodge, whatever. I get a discount on these anyway, right? And then I use Valvoline in this van. I have since it was new. Yeah. Darrellette, we'll be lucky to change oil at 5,000. I think she might be cresting 1,000 overdue right now. It is what it is, right? I guarantee if I took the head off this thing today, which I won't do, there'll still be crosshatch in the bores. You know, the bearings won't even be showing any copper or anything. They're just, you know, new engines are, I can see again. New engines are just built to a different standard. Yeah, so anyway, the cartridge filter is back. On top. It's really not a bad deal. You know, GM does this now. I don't know. I haven't worked on many Fords, but I'm sure Ford has its variation of this. Yeah, it's plastic or whatever, but it's that real fibery plastic stuff. I tell you what socket size it is, but I don't freaking know. I just got this set from Mac. It has all the different sizes in it. Oh yeah. That's the first thing I do is get this hog emptied out, and it drains into the crankcase. Hey, I did have a momentary lapse of judgment one time, and this, I'll show you this O-ring on here. It's just like, you know, you ever double gasket a small block Chevrolet? I mean, I think anybody who's ever been doing this ever has double gasketed an oil filter in their day, right? Well, shoot, I did it on a fork truck one time right in front of a customer. Dang it. And they're like, oh, God, Joey, it's making a lake of oil. Well, to which I replied, at least the floor is shiny right there, right? Soaked up all the dirt. Yuck. Look at that. What's old is new again. The cartridge filter is back. I think they had cartridge filters on small block Chevrolet for, what, 67 and earlier? 60, yeah, something like that. I don't even know. Right. What do you guys use to record with? I've heard not so good things about GoPro. So I've been using my old iPhone with a new battery and a new screen. But when it gets this freaking hot out here, error, well, I get over temp error, and I'm thinking to myself, well, shoot, man, I'm overheated. I know that. You know what I mean? I can't blame the phone, but I gotta keep, you know, I gotta keep working. So where were we? Old is new again. That's right. Okay. Oh no, what the? This is getting out of hand here, Hoss. Let me get a nice clean towel. Yeah, I don't know. There we go. Is that better? Oh yeah. Oh, I know what we were talking about. Rolling the O-ring on this thing here. Letting it come out of the cup, and then it acting just like a double O-ring on a spin-on filter on a car. Yeah, don't do that. You know what's really weird too is that like it fills the intake valley full of oil, and then it really doesn't, it didn't leak that bad when the engine was just sitting here idling, but it just poured out when I turned, and it poured out. I must have been making a right-hand turn because it poured all the way down the transmission and all the way out in the ground. You could see the oil it left in the neighborhood. I didn't do that. The dealership did that one time when it was really new. The van, I don't think had but maybe 20, 30,000 miles on it. Ever since then, I'm like, you know what? I'll just change it myself. The other thing too is I saw a guy change the oil on one of these one time, and the O-ring was like white. I don't know what filter brand it was, but we put it on there and started to tighten it, and it snapped. The Mopar oil filter comes with a, what I would assume to be Chinesium, see it down in there? Black O-ring. I've never had a problem with the black O-ring. I want to say, I know, you're gonna be like, oh boy, where is that thing made? You know, half of Chrysler vehicles are made overseas, right? But I want to say that this filter is actually made in the US of A. Maybe it was like Portugal or something, wherever the heck the new guy is from. That freaking guy, I tell you. Okay, here we go. I knew I saw it somewhere. Where does it? Now I can't see it again. It's got all these crazy, right there. Made in USA. I like that. Who knows? They're probably made by somebody. But as for a comparison, a Wix for a Chrysler pentastar engine. I don't know what this EAC means. I'm not sure, but I know what that means. All right, hosses. Here's the deal. It's freaking hotter than frick. I'm getting tired of fighting camera issues here. Super easy to change the oil. I apologize if my camera work is not stellar. It never really was anyway, right? Storms are starting to fire. up by me. I can't think of a more uniquely American vehicle. Yeah, you got the Camaro and Charger and Challenger and the Mustang. You know, and I will give Ford credit, okay, where credit is due. Ford never gave up on the Mustang. It's had continuous production from 1964 and a half to present day. I mean, you can't argue with that. That's classic Americana. But so is this minivan. You know what I mean? 50s and 60s, America had a thirst for station wagons. They were big, they were heavy. Gas crunch was getting on them pretty bad. People needed something new. Lee Iacocca actually pitched this idea to Ford when he was there. And they didn't want anything to do with it because they thought it would interfere with their full-size van and station wagon sales, which obviously it did, right? Well, when he went to Chrysler, he needed like a halo car or something. So he created, he saw that transition from those big cool Chrysler boats with like seats that look like your grandma's couch to front-wheel drive cars like Omnis and stuff, and that's when the minivan really came to shine. Once he got that front-wheel drive platform, he said a little light bulb went off in his head, right? And he's like, ooh, this is it. This is the one. So he adapted his concept that he had with Ford for front-wheel drive, and in 1984, the world was changed. It wasn't a Caravan. Was it a Caravan? Voyager, that's what it was, Voyager. And the rest is history, as they said, right? Of course, the Americans tried to catch up. You know, Chevy did their Uplander deal or whatever. Ford did this crazy space shuttle looking truck thing that was kind of like, still was rear wheel drive. Chevy had the Astro van. It was a miniature van, but it was like a 3/4 real van, shrunk down. This was something totally unique, and it got good mileage. Last step of this whole deal, write a new oil change sticker, which, you know, Darrellette will promptly ignore, but I'll keep an eye on it when I drive it on the weekends or whatever. It's just routine stuff, man, just routine stuff. Well, that'll pretty well wrap her up. We're good to go. I didn't find anything. Ball joints are tight, tie rods are tight, stabilizer links, they're just stabilizing, you know, just a little noisily. Wipers are good. Oil change done. All the other fluids look good. We're ready to enjoy the great American summer in a great American vehicle. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later. Bang!